So people are saying Joe Brandon was executed in 2020 and replaced by robots, and I believe it. Hell, I've been saying that for years. Where y'all been? Joe Brandon is a cybernetic humanoid android clone robot cyborg replicant propped up by Siri, Alexa, and artificial intelligence. And by that, I mean the Democrats. Forget the Stepford wives. This was the Stepford presidents. Forget the West Wing. He was staying in Westworld. I seen Blade Runner. I know how this shit works. The guy behind the Chuck E. Cheese robot band and subsequently the Showbiz Pizza band? That's who did it. All they did was go down to the Hall of Presidents at Disney World. They said, give me that Joe Brandon model right there. But don't worry, we're going to soup him up. And the robot, he didn't want to do it. He said, no, disassemble. And they were like, shut up, Optimus past his prime. You're the president now. It's true. They 86 Joe Brandon, and it's bad to 86 somebody unless it's Joe Brandon or Mike Pence or anyone else I don't like. But they tried to do a body double, but Joe Brandon's so old they just kept dying. They had a body triple and a body quadruple, and finally they said, we're just going to outsource it to the robots. Just like the rest of the jobs. And technology's so good these days that the robot, he only stuttered, stumbled, mumbled, forgot, misspoke, fell off his bike, fell up the steps, and tripped a few times. That's how good the technology is. But you know what worked 100% of the time? The auto pen. And Joe Brandon's not the only politician replaced by a robot. If you look closely, you can tell. Look at Mitch McConnell. All the times he froze up. That's classic robot behavior right there. They didn't do it on camera, but they pulled him in the back, and they wet their finger. They did one of these, and then they slid it up his asshole, because that's where the reset button on these androids nowadays, they keep an asshole. And they pushed it, and then he came out. Oh, don't worry, I'm Mitch McConnell. I'm doing great. I'm going to vote against interracial marriage despite having an Asian wife. I'm just fine. So the only way to defeat these robots is next time you run into Joe Brandon, walk right up to him and just hold up a picture of traffic and say, Joe, show me which parts of this picture is a motorcycle. And he'll be like, and he'll start stuttering and shaking and smoking bolts and oil and shit will start flying around. And that's when you could say, I knew you was a Joe Brandon bot.